Hi guys, welcome to the Spoken Podcast, episode 7 today. I am here with Carrick Petford, owner of Femme Tattoo House, multiple locations. And we're here today to get a bit of an insight into Cags, a bit of his background about Femme, clothing brand and everything. So I'd learn more about you, Cags, you know. Welcome, mate. Thank you very much. I know you're so busy, so I'm like, let's make this a quick one. I know you are flat out. The shop is absolutely pumping, which is amazing. So
we could make time for friends.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
Always.
I know. And I know Pete will do his trusty work again and tag Cags' shop and everything like that in the actual...
Put it in there, Pete.
Like that, Pete.
Boom.
Put it in, Pete. All right, cool. Best part of the show? Your 5 best songs.
The songs. I've got them. We've preempted this.
I know.
It is not easy to choose your favourite 5 songs of your entire life. But we're going to go with a few that came to the top of my head. Dizzy Rascal, I Love You. UK Garage, bro.
Yeah.
From the days.
It's
from
so
the young
beautiful.
days when you don't know who you're going to be, what you're going to turn out like.
I love that.
So much fun. Representing both sides of my family, to be honest. English side, Dizzy Rascal.
Yep.
Second, Scribe from New Zealand. Not Many remix. It's a banger too. Only the old heads will know that one, so you young folks, I'm sorry.
No, they'll just be like that.
Little bit of G Unit, Lloyd Banks, On Fire. Another old one, Fabulous, Breathe. And then I'm pretty sure this song's in the 8 Mile movie, but I'm not exactly sure if it is or not. I might be getting it mistaken, but Gangstar Battle. It's a tune. If you haven't heard it, banging on Spotify now. It's a banger.
We'll link it to the Spotify. We'll link it. I wonder if Pete could play like little clips in this. Just get smashed with copyright.
Yeah. From my podcast experience, I think you get a little bit, but not too
like
much.
2 seconds, whatever it is. All right, cool. So I've gone with a little bit of my. I was telling Cags earlier. I've gone through a little bit of like an R&B week or two. So I've gone Ludacris, My Chick Bad. Which she's not, but I thought I'd just put that in there anyway. I've gone Busta Rhymes, Break Your Neck.
What a tune.
I know, classic. 50 Cent, In the Club.
Oh my God, amazing.
D12, Fight Music.
Another banger.
And then, I didn't tell you about this one, but I went Forgot About Dre by Dr. Dre and Eminem.
You took some inspo from mine.
I did,
like
that's
it.
what I mean. I was
like it.
Well, I heard a couple of Cags' and I thought, let's kind of...
You got to, it's the same vibe.
Yeah, well, we are the same vibe.
What a
so
tune.
it's like,
What a bunch of tunes.
I know, exactly. All right, let's get into the fun stuff.
Let's do
So let's talk about young Cags. Let's talk about leaving school.
Ooh.
What was kind of the what was the thought process after school? What was it like? Did you have a kind of a career goal as to what you wanted to do?
I don't even know if I've even told you this before. To be honest, I might have. I don't know the amount of conversations we've had, but obviously I wasn't too into school. I left after year 10. I didn't like the whole you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I just wanted to do my own thing. But the first legitimate job that I got was I was a hairdressing apprentice.
Were you really?
Yeah.
You never told me that.
I didn't know if I did or not. I did it in Surface, in like an Asian-owned like salon.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that all the hairdressers like rented their seats.
Yep.
Because they all were quite different towards me. But I just swept the floor and threw all the towels in the washing machine and then threw them in the dryer and thought I was progressing when I got to actually like wash people's hair.
I love that. You want a job?
No, thanks. But I think I did it for almost a year, which is what they said you need to do before we'll teach you anything.
Yeah.
But I just kind of, I enjoyed the like being around the people and that sort of stuff, but I just kind of knew that it wasn't for me. And I saw my eyes sort of going in a different direction. Like I just kind of wanted to create something a little bit more that I was more into, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I knew that it was going to be a long trek to get to be able to sort of put a really nice haircut on someone's head. It wasn't going to be an overnight thing.
Yeah.
And the fact that I was literally just sweeping and washing and cleaning was, you got to do the hard yards, and I've done it in multiple industries to get to where I am now. But because I was so young, I think I probably just gave up because I thought it might be too hard.
Yep.
Could be the truth. I don't know. It feels my teenage years feel so long.
I know, and this is one thing which I know we've spoken about previously as well. Like, there's some parts I'm like, oh, that I can't even remember that part of my life kind of thing. So I reckon you would have been a great hairdresser. Like genuine. I'm like,
I do my brother's hair now.
Yeah.
They're too stingy to go to the barber.
Yep.
So they just go, quick, get the clippers and we'll do a little
100%.
fade and a little trim. And a beard trim. It's important.
Yeah.
Big time. Look at this.
It's hiding my
the lines are
many
good.
chins. But there you go. It's trying to. Pete, you need to edit this so I look skinny.
A filter.
Yeah, no, amazing. So, after hairdressing, apprenticeship.
So I was in Surface Paradise, and then I saw one guy walking down the street, and he basically blew me away. Like, he was just so out there and just different. And I was like, he had a cool haircut, he had way out there clothes. And I was like, dude, what is this guy doing? And then like I saw where he walked back to, and it was a clothing store.
Cool.
And then that store ended up moving to a different place, Pacific Fair and stuff like that. But I ended up shopping in the same shop. And just so I could see what that guy was doing. And I went in there and I just looked at like the singlets and I was like, whoa, $150 for a singlet? I'm like 16.
Yeah.
And I'm like, $150 will get me going for like a couple of weeks or a month or like a few weekends.
Yeah.
And that just sparked something in me. Like, what is this? What's going on? This shop's here. Cool. It must be, there's got to be something I'm missing out on. And then I just started to sort of continually go back there, and I saved up some money so I could buy some stuff. Obviously I bought the lower end of the scale, the cheapest things in the shop. I'd buy the singlet. The shop was called Cadillac Cowboy, just for people's reference. And I ended up becoming friends with the guys, the owners, and I ended up being offered a job there.
Sick.
And then I just started working retail. So, and then that crept into my next adventure and the next thing. And
I love it. So going on to your next adventure, let's hear about that, which is one thing which I suppose you were kind of probably midway through that adventure when we first started knowing each other, I suppose.
Yeah.
It would have been, what's that, 12? Was it 12 years?
I'm not, I don't know. I'm bad with that
I know,
stuff.
me too. But yeah, let's talk about...
Basically, yeah. So it sparked my sort of... It just sparked me to... I saw what people were buying, and all the stuff in the shop was the best stuff in this sort of like style.
Yeah.
Men's fashion. And at that time too, it was a very minimal select amount of guys that would spend that sort of money on clothes. So it was mainly a lot of the customers were female.
Yeah.
And, but they still had 50-50 men's and women's. But I saw a big gap for stuff that, like a big gap in the market for stuff that was like not too expensive, but not also cheap. And design-wise too, because I was like, I don't want to pay that much for that, and I don't want to pay that much for that. What can I just make the thing in the middle myself?
Yeah.
And then that took me into graphic design, which took me to Bali, and then I basically became a self-taught fashion designer.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Which is something that nearly every second person is on the Gold Coast now. But we're talking 2009 is when I launched the first collection and the brand.
Yep.
Which is before Instagram, before websites. I sold on MySpace and eBay.
That's amazing.
So for all you little children that are just
like
flopping things on the gram and making shitloads, well done. I appreciate it. I respect it. But it was a different game back then for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
How do you think you would have gone if you had Instagram back then?
I don't know. It's too hard to say. Because we had a sales agency that were representing my brand from the very beginning, which I was very lucky, which is why it was quite successful early. They were always steering me to do the more basic things because that's where the money was. But my designs were a little bit more. The style was like metro at the time.
Yeah.
I guess they call it like metro, and the necks were wider, the pants were tighter. It was a cool time.
100%.
And the colors were out there, like not like now, like obviously all black, like just simple and classic, but like, then it was more expression. And my designs were a bit more like concept-y. Like it was like, I was pushing the limits and they were pulling me back. So
100%.
Yeah, I was like the horse and they were the rider. Keep pulling the reins to keep me in check.
It's so funny because I still remember like Scholesy, one of our mutual friends. I remember rocking up to training I was basically head to toe in his stuff. And he was just like, he goes, Cags had a sale on, did he? And I was like, cheers, Scholesy, thanks, man. Because as you know, I love
sales around here, mate.
I know, exactly. Like I love your clothing. Like it was unreal. but I was never cool enough to wear that clothing. I always used to look in the mirror and think, what the hell am I doing? But I winged it anyway.
It was quite specific, but I tried to like broaden it. That was the point.
Yeah.
That was the point. I really needed to broaden the market. Yeah, for the market, the people that could purchase my clothes. Yeah. And it happened.
Yeah.
And it went really well. But that was slowly the decline, like the retail industry, and this is over 5, 6, 7. The brand was around for 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, later, like halfway through in the time span, like retail started to suffer a bit, like people, because websites became a thing.
Yeah.
Facebook came out, Instagram came out, and everybody was buying online and only just starting to trust that their stuff would even come if you bought it online. Yeah. Like now you just...
I know, it's natural.
You're fuming if your stuff doesn't come the next day if you paid express.
Yeah.
You're fuming. You can't believe it.
It is crazy, isn't it? Like, I remember wearing your stuff back home. I still remember it was like a long sleeve tee with a hood on it. The hood was like stupidly long and one side was longer than the other.
Slam and ham.
And I remember wearing it here and people were like, what the hell are you wearing, right? And I wore it in the UK and everyone was like, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Where's that from? Like, and it goes back to what we're speaking about that we've done in a couple of the pods which are going to come out now, the actual trends in barbering, like how the UK is like so far ahead, same as the States, and then it's now gradually...
It's all relevant.
Yeah. I mean, your hairstyles, for example, right? We say this about you all the time. It's like you were cutting in styles and people were going, oh, that's a bit like gnarly.
There's always the forefront people of everything.
Yeah.
They're the innovators and the people that push the boundaries. They're the ones who make it normal.
Yeah.
They're always another step ahead when it becomes normal.
Exactly.
So you need the innovators.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you need, and the people who are willing to take a chance when it comes to them seeing a gap in the market too, which is obviously like people learning to be barbers.
Yeah.
That's something that you saw that needed to be done and you've gone and done it. So congrats. Big
Try
ups.
to.
Yeah.
I know. Kags have been there from the start, so it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You've literally been there from the start. So
I'll always give my 2 bob.
Yeah, I know, which is good. I've always needed it, which is good. All right, cool. Let's talk about taking the step and going in there. Bali. What was your thing behind going?
Well, obviously, as everybody probably knows now, that anyone who's tried to do any manufacturing, you can get your basic t-shirts and print on them here, and that's as far as that goes.
Yeah.
As we all do for our merchandise at our here. Also at my tattoo studios as well, we do basic stuff with the print and embroidered. It's only just merchandise.
Yeah.
It's not fashion design. So that's as good as you can get in Australia. So the only place I knew that was going to be available to sort of make anything was Bali. The minimum orders were smaller.
Yep.
And obviously it's quite close. It was
100%.
possible to go to. It's quite scary to go to China.
Yeah.
At that age, I think I was 23 when I started, literally. I'm pretty sure I was 23. I was already in with the fashion crowd on the Gold Coast anyway.
Yep.
And then somebody just said, look, meet me in Bali. When you go, I'll give you the contacts to one person I know. And he was actually a shoe manufacturer. And then he passed me to a clothing factory.
Yeah, cool.
But I had to go and do it.
Yeah.
I went to Bali one time, and the sole purpose of that trip wasn't to gain manufacturers or do business, but I did literally ask every taxi driver. And everyone had it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my friend, of course.
Yeah.
I can help you. I can help you, of course. I didn't take anybody out because we were too busy on the piss and having fun.
Exactly.
That was just a fun trip. That was when I was 18.
Yeah.
And then it took another 5 years for me to actually think that I could save any money and get a little bit of education behind myself to be able to think that I could actually do it. But once I got there and I met, it all just clicked. It was all...
Yeah.
It's like I was already previously trained. Just before I went to Bali, I think I'd done 12 months at a full-time graphic design course. So, and everything I did in that graphic design course was fashion-based. Like they're telling me to do this and that and do this. And I was like, yeah. And I just twisted it my own way and did things that were relevant to me.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
And there's another guy in the class too. He ended up being a really good tattoo artist. And he actually works at the shop just down close to us
amazing.
now, which is cool. But he did the same thing. So he was designing all his stuff in the graphic design class solely for tattooing, which was cool. So we sort of became friends because we were like, we're not doing this to become a graphic designer.
Exactly.
We're doing this to gain skills that we
That's
can
cool.
use in our own industries later.
Yeah, that's sick.
But basically, as soon as I got it, I jumped on the plane. I think I even went to Bali halfway through the course.
Yeah.
And I did my first sample collection, which probably I think it only cost me like $2,000 to $3,000. I just got one of every single thing made.
Yep.
And then I brought it back and gave it to the agency. And then they did the sales trip. It took about 6 months until I sort of received the email, the final orders. And they were updating these gently.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to
yeah,
I don't know, they didn't want me to have too much expectation because it's my very first collection. And
100%.
I was extremely stoked to have somebody selling it for me.
Yep.
Just to have an agency with big brands like Nana Judy. Now they do Coachella and like they do big things in America. They got a shop on Melrose in LA.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
They were literally sitting right next to me on my rack and their rack, same agency. And it's only a menswear agency too, and a small boutique one at that, maybe 8 brands. So to create a collection and then be straight in there was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But yeah, then I got the email and I was like, whoa, I got to go see my nan and ask her for some money to make this up because I was well out of my depth then.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically we just went from there. I fulfilled the order.
Yep.
And then all the stuff went out. A TNT truck rocked up to my nan's house, which is where I was living at 23. And the whole back of the TNT truck was filled with boxes just for me.
How good's that?
And she still says it to me now, God bless her. Do you remember when we filled the garage up and then you unpacked everything and it took up the whole house? Like we had trench coats, every size, every color from the floor to the ceiling in that corner.
I love it.
Jeans, tees, singlets, like everything. It was cool times to look back on. It's cool.
So when was the kind of the changeover from label to tattooing? Did something click or was it just like...
It was, I guess, as I got older, I sort of, without really knowing, I subconsciously started doing a lot of research when it came to tattooing. Like I obviously got tattoos myself, which most people do anyway now. But I think I took it to the next level. Like all the shows that people know, like Miami Ink, LA Ink, I was religious on that. Weirdly, it was a different industry, but I was quite obsessed with watching every single. I've got all the DVDs still, like in a cupboard at home.
Yeah, that's sick.
So Miami Ink, LA Ink, and then it went New York Ink, and then London as well. There's a London Ink, and I got quite addicted to it. Really, I thought it was really cool, just the whole process of because fashion at the time it's just so passive. Like you can buy a t-shirt, and especially now with fast fashion, you buy something once, and the girls can wear a dress, and then they've got to take a photo in it. They can't wear it again.
Exactly.
That's what they think.
Yeah.
But that's not the way fashion should be, and that's what's polluting the planet and all the rest of it, which is why I'm not a part of it anymore. It's just too insustainable and it all goes over my head now. And they just post and then there's boom, they're sold out.
Yeah.
And whoa, yeah, okay.
I know.
But it just basically it fell hand in hand with the design sort of thing. Like I had all the skills to be able to create tattoo designs, but I actually tried to get an apprenticeship in Palm Beach as a tattoo artist, and I went in and I was quite scared, to be honest. Just a little dude, this is I still had the brands, and I was doing some pretty significant things in the fashion space, but it never really equated to the financial side of things that I wanted. In the beginning, it was great because I was young and I had money and I bought a nice car and I did this and blah blah blah. But to be really sustainable, I needed to keep progressing, and it just being in Australia, I think was my biggest downfall because I was always watching the American market and the European market, and trying to sell my designs here was sort of nearly impossible after I sort of had a few seasons of success. But I did showrooms in Paris, and I did the Shanghai Fashion Week showrooms as well with my second label, and it all looks great on paper and on Instagram and stuff, but it was like a switch over when I thought I need to start making money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of when I went, what do I spend most of my money on that's not clothing? Tattoos.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I've never asked you that before. How crazy is that?
It is weird. I've never had to explain it properly, to be honest.
I know, that's cool. All right, Femme.
Yeah. So I was in Bali, obviously, so I didn't mention. I opened the clothing store in Bali, the brand, House of Ninth Life. We had the retail location in Bali, just obviously due to going there for manufacturing and everything. And my wife was and still is a beautician. From the beginning. That was her first trade. So we opened the retail shop together for the clothing brand in Bali, and then she went partners with me. So then she went, well, look, everyone's doing beauty in Bali too. Let's use your trade too. So let's do that together too. We opened the beauty spa there, which is the Cottage Beauty House Bali on Instagram. Pete. So we had those, and then we just thought, look, let's use both of our skills. Like, you can deck out a nice looking beauty spa and
100%.
obviously run it correctly. I know how to design like interiors and this fashion, blah, blah, blah. What's the second best thing that I love? Like tattooing. We actually, when we were in America on our honeymoon, we were in Brooklyn, and my wife Brie got tattooed by a Russian girl in a studio that was all female artists. Yeah. So it wasn't like pretty or like really super aesthetically pleasing like mine is now, but it sort of, it did subconsciously sit. I go, this is different. Yeah. And I'm in Brooklyn too, so it's it's like grimy and cool, and then you walk in and they're all Russian or like like Eastern European artists, and they can just speak English. And she got a really cool tattoo. It still looks awesome now. And then I just sort of said to her, like, one night, I'd spit ideas at her all the time, weekly. It'd be like, what should we do? Do you like this? And she'd just go, can you stop? This is silly. Yep. But one night, I think I literally just said, like, just before bed, like, what do you think about doing like an all-female tattoo shop here? Like, this is when we were living in Bali. Yeah. And she literally just like looked at me with like a funny face and was like, that's a pretty cool idea. And then my analytical business brain just does a smack bang checklist. Yep. Like, what's in the way? Okay, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do that? Can I do this? Can I do that? Yep. And it kind of just went, and nothing sort of was stopping me.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
As soon as you hit a checkpoint, then discuss it. There wasn't really a checkpoint. There was some small hiccups, obviously. All right, we'll talk in the morning. But the conversation was probably a half an hour conversation. We're supposed to go to sleep. Yeah. So I was like, we might be onto something here. And then the first thing we mentioned to each other in the morning was we just picked up on the combo. Yeah. And probably the easiest way to explain, it sounds like a pretty out there idea just to open a tattoo shop in Bali without any previous experience. Like, it does sound like quite impossible, but I got a lot of my main work, my arms and some of my chest done by a studio in Bali, and I became really good friends with the owner, and he was Australian. Yep. So to be honest, I pitched the idea to him and his business partner. His business partner loved it. Like, he was like, this guy's onto something. Yeah. And I was really, really close friends with him. And different generation, probably like closer to 50 years old, the guy. Yep. But so much experience and so much support to me while I was in Bali too. Like, he came to the opening of both of our previous businesses and put big money on the table just to help out when we just started, and really helped. So I was like, cool, can I repay this guy somehow? So I offered him, like, will you go in it with me? Because I didn't have any resources to get artists. Yep. I didn't have, like, I knew it would probably be reasonably easy to find a place to source like the supplies and stuff like that, but I didn't have it at the time. Yeah. I knew I could find a spot, make it look amazing, create cool socials, get people to come, but I didn't have any of the proper business stuff. So that's why I said, look, it's going to take a little bit of risk off me if I offer it to him. 100%. So I did. And then he said, nobody cares about what the tattoo shop looks like. And I was like, are you sure? Yeah. But yeah, I love the guy. Still do. Still talk to him now. Probably kicking himself, but all good. All mine now.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. All right. I got a question for you. You mentioned your lovely wife. Do you think you would have been able to do that without your partner? Nah, no way. Nah. It's a partnership. How much does Brie owe me for this video, by the way? Like, I'm blowing smoke up her ass, you know?
How much did I give you before?
Yeah. No, I think it's very much like, because a lot of people won't see that back end of what you've done, you know what I mean? Like, when you were lying in bed going like, this is what we spoke about. People, like what we mentioned before, somebody could have just been like, oh, I bet somebody just gave him cash and he did it all. And it's Absolutely like, not. I know, imagine if we did, man. Yeah. Imagine what we could do if we did. Like,
one thing that was happening before we were discussing that, Brie was working for a wedding company in Bali, on an extremely low wage and doing insane hours to keep my fashion dream alive. Because like, I would go in and literally like collect the money weekly and be like, how many pieces did we sell? Yep. And this was like our money. So she basically went and did something that she enjoyed it when she did it. She made some really cool friends, like lifelong friends that we're still friends with now. Yep. But like, the amount of, obviously the financial side of it compared to how many hours she was doing was ridiculous. And she put herself out to do that for us. Yeah, that's amazing. We reap the rewards from all the hard work that we've both done together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So cool. So let's talk about the current shop now in Nobby's.
Yep.
I was there when there was purple walls, which was amazing. I know around the time you were looking at that, we were hanging out quite a bit because it was like bouncing ideas off each other because we were both looking for new spaces, which is quite rare, but it was quite funny at the same time as well. We were like, what do you think of this?
And you were cutting my hair.
I know, correct. Yeah,
Don't
so
forget that.
I know.
The big boss still cuts hair.
Yeah, I know.
Believe it or not.
Sometimes. So yeah, we were kind of discussing like what areas and stuff like that, right? And
Doing
it was
mental checklists together.
exactly 100%. So that space is amazing. I think it's a great area. Obviously, I live around the corner, so I'm going to say that. But it is like, I love it. I think it's such a cool area in Nobby's.
It is.
Like Kieran, one of our trainers, he was just like, what a cool area Nobby's is. He's just moved here from Adelaide. So yeah, it's like, I love that, you can get something which your brand sticks out so much because it's like, boom, you know what I mean? It's so clean, it's so crisp, but it's still, you look like you have been there for so long, as in like your business has been like structured. It's been in Nobby's, like that's the heart of Nobby's for so long, if that makes sense.
It does sit well in the environment there.
It's so like, it's really weird because like what you said, it's only been 7 months, is it? Yeah. Which is bonkers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, where I was getting to was what's the kind of plans for the shop
In Australia.
Yeah, in Australia. Yeah.
Now we're at full capacity. We are sort of the discussion is like it's open now to whether we're going to expand or do we do another location. I can't say too much about some certain things, but yeah, the Nobby shop is at full capacity now with artists and bookings as well. So obviously it wouldn't be a silly thing to get some more space.
Yeah.
But I can't confirm if it's going to happen or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's going really well. It's taken this amount of time to get everything where it needs to be. Like, obviously, me working in Bali with Indonesian artists, they kind of look to me for support and the guidelines of how the business works and that sort of stuff. And those guys were the best. Like, they got me here, and I love them so much, all of them.
Yeah.
And then working with Australian artists, it's a totally different kettle of fish. Like it's everyone, like artists aren't staff.
Yeah.
They're creatives. Like
absolutely.
To get them to be on time sounds like it should be an easy thing and that sort of thing. But I mean, I can provide them with a really good living if they're going to work with me. And and the ones that I have, I'm super blessed.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They're so talented, all of them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you still look after the socials on your page?
Now I do.
Yeah.
I have a booking manager that replies to all the Instagram messages. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Shout out.
Yeah,
100%.
AC Joe Short, put the link in there. Miami Made Furniture, sister-in-law. Gotta love family.
I love it. But the only reason why I say that is because like the page is so like it's on point. You got a lot of followers, and I know we went through that little blip. But it came back. Thank goodness. I know. Thank goodness that came back. But yeah, like the videos in the shop and stuff like that.
That's all me, unless I'm not working.
Yeah.
Then our apprentice and receptionist, like the shop manager, she's got it down too. Like she'll take the videos and then send them to me.
Yeah.
I edit, like I'll filter them.
Yep.
I put the tags on and the songs and. Yeah, I still do a lot as
that's
owner. Like I'm attached to it because you have to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to be in there, and like I work minimum 4 days a week, still in the studio, like meeting the guests and the clients, just to make sure that they know, like that they're getting. Everyone's there for them.
Exactly.
Like obviously everyone's there to work.
Yeah. And
make a living for themselves, but the customer service and the experience at La Femme is definitely, and I can literally. Guarantee that it's at a different level to other tattoo studios. And it comes out of nearly all the customers' mouths. They literally say, I've never seen a tattoo shop like this.
Yeah, no.
Like, especially some of our older clientele, they don't know what to expect. The young girls now, they expect it.
Yeah.
Because they're just Instagram life.
Yeah, exactly.
But like they expect it, they come in and they see the nice couches and the interiors and they're like, this is what it should be like.
Yeah.
But they don't know any different. So
exactly.
They don't come from they're not like our generation or even the generation above us. So, yeah, a lot of people are like, wow, this is really different. And that's where my wife's like beautician, like we wanted it to look like a beauty spa.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
and a fashion boutique mix.
Absolutely.
Perfect mix. It's a boutique tattoo house. That's why we didn't want to ever call it a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
Or a tattoo studio. All of our previous businesses have had house in the name, like the Cottage Beauty House.
Yeah, that's cool.
House of Ninth Life. Now this is La Femme Tattoo House.
Yeah.
Because it houses the creatives, the creation, whatever you're producing inside the business. Doesn't matter as long as you're doing
that's
doing
awesome.
it to the highest level, I guess.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. I know everybody's going to kill me, and they're probably like, "Why haven't you asked them yet?" What's La Femme stand for?
It means the woman in French.
Yeah.
It's funny because people, like a lot of young girls, are like hesitant when they call to actually say the word in case they get it wrong, which is interesting. So for everybody watching, it's on Gareth's shirt.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
It's pronounced La Femme, and in French La Femme.
Yeah.
So yeah, English is La Femme.
Maybe we should get a voiceover of Arthur, our marketing guy.
Get him to do it.
I'll get him to do it. He'll love that. But yeah, I love it, Kags. We are because we're gonna do a part 2 of this 100%, because we could talk here all night. But I love what you're doing. We've always said it. Every time we catch up, it's like, look what we're doing, kind of thing. And yeah, maybe, who knows?
Equally as impressive.
Yeah, it is. It's I still don't think people see the kind of work behind.
It looks fancy and glamorous.
Exactly.
But it takes a lot of work to be able to sort of get to this place.
Absolutely.
When you have especially a real space.
Yeah.
A lot of people and a lot of successful businesses now, their space is online.
Exactly.
And to have a physical space really takes extra work.
Absolutely,
these days in this sort of climate.
Yeah.
Especially because we opened the shop in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
And people were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I go I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't take any risk.
Exactly.
And it's my bread and butter tattooing, so we need it. The Gold Coast was ready for us.
Yeah.
And it's proven.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's a great way to end on, by the way. The Gold Coast was ready for us. I love that, because they were 100%. And it's not just the Gold Coast. I see everybody on that page, from Perth, Sydney, Melbourne, we're going to Gold Coast, tagging their mates in. It's so cool, Kags, honestly. I don't need to blow smoke up your ass either, so I know you know that. But I know. But thank you so much for being here. I know you're a very busy, man. So we'll get Kags back in a couple of weeks and do part 2 as well. So I know probably everyone's like, I can't believe you didn't ask him this. I can't believe you didn't ask him that. So we'll sort it all out and we'll put it into part 2 as well. But thank you so much, my man. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. And yeah, stay tuned for part 2.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.